Okay, part one. What we want to do is we're going to work on the barrel first. We're going to take our 100mm caps, and what we want to do with them is basically this. So what you do is you take two caps, and two caps will make one of these sections. Just to save on weight, you can do it like with you can do it different ways. Do it out of resin if you're good at that. But what I did was I take the cap, I mark out about 1 centimeter, and then on the other one I just cut and grind it flat. So then when they come together, you've got that one section. All you've got to do is glue it. But we don't want to glue it straight away. We want to kind of put them all on the pipe where we want them, and then glue them. So I'm going to go and prepare these, and then we'll continue from there. Alright, so I've just finished the pieces. As you can see, it's pretty good size. It doesn't really matter if they're a little different sized, because you're not going to tell the difference. Plus, you can put the smaller sized ones at the front and have them, thicker towards the end. Doesn't really matter. My job is easy this time around because this is from when I made the first minigun. So I've got a template already. You guys are going to have to draw up a template on cardboard. And the next step is I'm going to take these and I'm going to glue them together, and then I'm going to drill the hole, because that's going to avoid having like a misalignment like I have in this section. And a small misalignment is a big deal when using these pipes. So I'm going to glue these, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to drill them, and from there I'll show you how to put them on the pipe and have them pretty accurate and straight. Okay, so we're going to be gluing these two sections together. Use whatever glue you're comfortable with. I'm going to use glue that I got from Repco because I used it on this one and it's held so far, so I'm pretty happy with it. And you might think that gluing these two parts it makes it kind of weak. It does, but when we get to putting the pipes through, the pipes actually support these two sections being together. But these two sections are pretty strong when you glue them together, unless you drop them on the ground and they land like that. Then they just like split open. And yeah, so that's the way I'm gonna do it. There we go. I've just glued them. You don't need to weigh them down too much, because if you put too much weight on them, they might shift, and then you're gonna have to re-glue it, and it's such a pain. But yeah, just weigh it down a bit. I don't know, read your glue. I'll let you know what glue I'm using. I'm using Tarzan Grip. Never used it before. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, we'll move on to the next step after it dries, obviously. Alright, the drying is finished. Now, just to remind you guys, these are 100mm caps, and basically what I'll be doing is drilling 25mm. This is a 25mm hole saw, and that's for the outside rings. The inside ring is a 32mm hole saw, or a bit bigger than that because the pipe is actually 32mm. So, and when you look at the minigun, you've got big holes here. Let me just change the angle. So we've got both sides with big holes, and then we move up to here. We've got big holes on this side and little holes on this side, which this one I think is 15mm holes. So you'll be drilling 25mm holes and then 15mm hole on this side, and then 15 all the way. So first of all, I'll be drilling this one, which is all the holes are the same on both sides. So I'll just drill all the way through. Alright. Also, when it comes down to drilling these, you want to have a high speed Like you want the drill to be on high speed, and you don't want to be putting too much pressure, because what will happen is if you put too much pressure, this will just twist and spin around and the glue will come apart. So you gotta watch out for that. Alright, before I go ahead any further, I have drilled out the first one, which is that one. And as you can see, all the holes are the same, 25mm. And that would go there. And I've drilled out 25mm holes on this next one. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to drill 15mm holes in there with using the guide holes of the 25mm. And that will basically go on like this, smaller holes on this side. So what happens is when you're gluing it, you put glue on the end of the tube, put it in, it actually, you know, glues onto the smaller pipe and everything is kind of glued together, just giving it a bit more strength. So just wanted to make that clear. I'm going to drill smaller holes, leave the bigger holes, so that everything is encased inside of each other. So it's not just glued, oh yeah, I'll just glue it on a flat surface because they'll obviously break. Alright, I'll move on and, okay, as you can see, it's not glued in yet, I just put it all together. I finished drilling all the holes and just gonna go through it again. This one is 15mm pipe. Then the next step is 25mm pipe, and the middle pipe is 32mm pipe. So you're gonna have to cut the holes out accordingly. And like I said before, I'll just remind you again. On this side, we drilled 25mm. On this side, we drilled 15. And the reason for that is I can show you now how. I mean, it's precise. Move over a bit. So when you push it in through here, right, and you line it up with the according hole, this little pipe actually goes inside that pipe, and you can just push it to the end, and once you get to this part, it'll go in through this big hole, but it won't go through the little hole, the smaller hole that you drilled in here, giving you an extra surface to glue and giving you, you know, more gluing surface, so it will hold better. I am making this one shorter than my original because this is going to be a lot more practical. And the next thing I want to say is this distance from here to here is 420mm, and that will basically be for the main body and allowing it to spin. Everything else doesn't matter. Do it to whatever size you want. You can have 3 of these, or you can have 4, or you can have more. You can make it longer. It just doesn't matter. It's your preference. As long as you keep 420 at the back here, it will be perfect, because this housing, I'm not going to change the size of that. I'm going to leave it as is because it looks good. Alright, so basically now I need to cut these to size because they don't have to be that long. As you can see, they can be probably half. This one's really long. It wouldn't be necessary to leave them long. I mean, you could do them this size, put glue all over them, slide it all together. Just make sure when you're gluing it, glue it all, like glue these to the middle pipe, and then put all the pipes in, and just to keep it lined up, because you won't know it's lined up unless you have all the pipes. So when it comes to gluing, glue the middle pipe to these round parts, put all the pipes in, let it dry, then take all the pipes out, then glue them all individually, and you'll know you will be pretty close to being everything having straight. Alright, so it's time to get gluing. Alright, so basically here it is, all glued together. I took these out because they're, like I said before, you just put them in so you can align everything and make sure nothing's out. And the reason I took them out is now I'm going to do another round of glue all the way around. I'll get it on the inside if I can as well, like just drops, just to put everything just strong. And after I've done the drops, I'll gently slide these back in, and this time as I'm sliding them back in, I will actually glue them in place. And after this is done, the next part we're going to move on to the body. So after I get it all glued together, I'll record a bit more, show you guys what it looks like, and then part 2 will be the body. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I just glued it all together. I just slid the big ones first, I glued them in first, and straight away, I didn't wait for them to dry. I went on to these ones because what happens is, when you put in these ones in, they actually go inside this pipe like you saw before, and you might need to wiggle these around to actually get these in, so glue it all together in one bit. Now, leave it overnight and we'll move on to the next step in the next part. But there you go. And yeah, just glue each joint and you'll be like 100% sure it's going to be good.